To Hussam Ayloush, the Executive Director of the Greater Los Angeles Office of the Council on American-Islamic Relations. Hussam, thank you so much for your time. Let me quote you back to yourself. We are told this is about security. We are told this is about stopping Iran's nuclear ambitions. But we've heard this before. For more than 30 years, Netanyahu has insisted that Iran is weeks away from a nuclear bomb. Those weeks have stretched into decades. Fear has been recycled as policy. Your words, Hussam. If it's not about security, what do you think it's about?
It's about Greater Israel. It's about making Israel the sole master of that region, and it's nothing new. They've talked about it. Iran is just one more step towards achieving that. What is next? They're already talking about it. There are no secrets. Israelis are pretty good at sharing with the world what their goals are. They're talking about Turkey being the next strategic threat and enemy to Israel. They're talking about a developing Sunni axis that includes Turkey, Turkey, Syria, Qatar, possibly Saudi Arabia. So that's what it is. And we have a president in our country, President Trump, who campaigned on making America great, and turns out to be one of the most vocal and loyal, making Israel great again.
Hussam, anybody who watches TRT World regularly may be getting sick of me making this kind of comparison, but you may not have heard it before. I mean, obviously you have, but not from my mouth. Is this like a medieval crusade? We have Donald Trump and his evangelical base in the United States, and we have Benjamin Netanyahu and his Zionist base in Israel. Is this effectively what we're seeing, but rather than shields and swords, they're using missiles and drones?
I would say everything you said is correct. I would remove the word like. It is. Leaders in my country, from the defense, Secretary of Defense, to religious leaders who show up to the White House and bless the president, to everybody around him. They're talking about, members of Congress, they're talking about a crusade. They're talking about causing Armageddon, causing World War III with the hope, Again, Israelis are looking for Greater Israel. Their extremist supporters in our country, in America, are looking for destroying Al-Masjid al-Aqsa in order to establish or to rebuild the temple, in order to speed up speed up the second coming of Jesus, so he can slaughter the Jewish people. This is exactly what they say. They're the most anti-Semitic people. And yet they come together at the expense of the stability of the people of that region. So yes, it is a modern-day crusade targeting that region today.
But words will presumably not stop Benjamin Netanyahu or Donald Trump. What could affect them the most? In what way do you see this ending before they decide they have achieved victory? In other words, do you see any situation in which they may have to curtail or reduce their huge ambitions of trying to install a government in Iran that can't project its force outside the country, essentially reduce it to an inner-looking, small, non-influential country?
Yeah, besides praying for their inability to continue their onslaught on the region, what we can hope for, and also in light of the complete absence and void of international law, international order. What's known as the world order has been exposed to be completely failed, or even, I would say, used for the service of the imperialist goals of the U.S. It's no longer the West, because even Europe, for the most part, is not happy. Maybe with the exception of Germany, that is a full force in support of the Israeli assaults in the region. But in the absence of any international order, such as the UN or other agencies to stop that, I think what could delay or change course, two things. If the cost of this war rises, such as economic, as you mentioned, as it was mentioned earlier in the report, the economic impact is going to make more people in America raise their voice. Already a safe majority of people in America, of Americans, object to this war launched by the president who like to call himself the president that promotes peace, I guess, the champion of peace. But also, God forbid, if more U.S. soldiers lose their lives, and their blood would be on the hands of both Netanyahu and Trump, and there will be more people speaking up. Same thing, similarly, I would say in Israel, if the cost continues with all these advanced missiles falling on Tel Aviv, I'm hoping that whoever is remaining with some conscience in Israel would stand up and say, enough is enough. We've obliterated Gaza, and we're destroying Iran, we're destroying Lebanon, we're engaging in Syria, and so on and so forth. Enough is enough. Now, the other factor that could bring a change, and maybe that's a big if and a big hope, is that if the level-headed leaders of that region come together, because at the end of the day, they did not choose to be part of this battle. They didn't choose for their land to be the battlefield, because Israel and the U.S., both Trump and Netanyahu, suddenly decided on their own, without consulting with the local people there, to make their territory, their entire land, a battlefield. Not just Iran, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, and the whole region is in flames. So the hope is level-headed leaders with influence, led by Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Egypt, can come together and create a counter pressure against the U.S., against Israel, maybe working with some level-headed European countries such as Spain, and force a complete cessation of this aimless, endless war.
Hussam Ayloush, thank you so much for spending time with us on TRT World. Really appreciate it.